All right. Well, good evening. Good evening. Lakeisha McKnight is here. I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Revitalize the Total Woman podcast. Welcome to the podcast show. Right now, you're tuning in, listening in by way of podcast platforms or on the Facebook platform inside of special groups. And so, listen, I do want to welcome and say thank you to every person, okay? Every person tuning into the podcast live or catching the replay. Thank you so very much for plugging in. And so here is what I would love to do at this particular time, okay? Because I know that we have some amazing, amazing things going on. And so I do want to share with you just a couple of things and really inform you ladies, those of you who are inside of the group on Facebook, let you know more about Women of Elevation specifically. And so this podcast is something that we do every Tuesday and Wednesday around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because our mission is to really empower women like yourselves with the tools to be able to create, relate, and elevate so you can walk in your God-given purpose and truly live your dream lifestyle. That is what this podcast has been created to do. Now, we are going to change the name of the podcast starting January 2021. It will be the Women of Elevation Empowerment Podcast. So stay tuned for that brief change, okay, that brief adjustment. But there are a couple of things that I want to accomplish during this podcast session. And so the one thing that I do want to accomplish is first and foremost, just giving you a couple of tips and strategies, nothing heavy, but a couple of tips and strategies on really how to go about, dropping the unhealthy thoughts that arise from fear of not really measuring up to the expectations of others and really adopting healthy ones. And so over the next 2 days, I really am going to provide suggestions in reference to that. And then I'm going to dive into what many of you probably see inside of the description area, which is an opportunity for speakers, okay? For speakers. So stay tuned, all right? I want to give you this most important tip right here tonight. And so it's very important for those of you who are looking to drop or get rid of unhealthy thoughts. And the way to do this is by first identifying the problem. Okay, identify the problem. And good evening for all of you ladies tuning in. Cassandra, Renita, all of you who are tuning in. That's the first thing you want to do. You need to identify the problem. Okay, so you got to do that. And for the next week, make a commitment to yourself. Anytime you catch yourself having a negative or a fearful or a worrisome thought, jot it down. Because most of us are always within arm's length of our cell phones these days. And so when an unhelpful thought arises, take note of it in your note-taking app. Any type of note-taking app, take note of it. And if it takes more than 1 week to arrive at a good list, that's okay. At first, you may simply forget to record your unhelpful thoughts. And this is a normal part of the process. So developing an awareness to catch your thoughts can take some practice. It's like growing an awareness muscle. The more you tune in and notice the quality of your thoughts, the easier it will become. And so your list will accomplish 2 main milestones, okay? Here are the 2 milestones, and then I'm going to definitely dive into what you all see in the description area. All right? So this is what's going to happen. It's going to strengthen your ability to catch and stop yourself from going down negative thought spirals. That's what it's going to do. Again, it's going to strengthen your ability to catch and stop yourself from going down negative thought spirals. And then secondly, it's going to yield a mental blueprint of the kind of thoughts that are holding you back. Okay, you're going to be surprised what comes up. So this is the first step. You got to be able to identify the problem so that you can be able to conquer those negative, fearful, and worrisome thoughts. And I'm hoping that this tip has helped you and point you in the right direction. Now, that's just one. I'm going to definitely be back tomorrow with yet another tip. Now, I might be in the Women of Elevation community group on Facebook, and I do encourage you ladies to join me over there in that particular hub. Okay, we call it a hub. And so the way that you can connect with the Women of Elevation group and get more content and opportunities like this is by jotting down this URL and then making sure that you request to be a part of that group. And so here's the URL. It's www, and I'm going to make sure I type it in as well. Let me go ahead and type it in for you guys. Ladies, rather. It's www.woecommunity.com. All right? So I want to ask you to join this area so you can learn more nuggets such as this and also be more aware of opportunities to be able to speak, to be able to train, to be able to really grow your brand. And so go ahead and request to join that particular hub. Now, here's the next point that I want to mention. As it's sharing in the description area, yes, Women of Elevation, it is an organization based out of Chesapeake, Virginia, and it also has a location in Nigeria, Africa. And so every year we have a summit, a virtual summit that happens in the final quarter of every year. And so this year we're calling for 6 speakers. And so the question I have for all of you who are listening is, do you want to be one of those 6 speakers? And so if you want to see if you can qualify or pre-qualify to be a virtual speaker, you can click on the link that's in the description area and you can complete that registration, that application. Now, not everyone who completes it will qualify. And we know we only have 6 spots. So make sure you go ahead and quickly complete it because the deadline to submit that application is coming up really, really quick. Okay. There have been people who replied to our post that we made in the group, and we have not been able to get to everybody because there was so many speakers. And so I encourage you to click on that link. And if you want to potentially be one of those speakers, you want to submit the application. And we're looking at it quick, really, really intentionally because we don't want to just accept anybody. We want individuals, professionals who can sow great amount of value into our audience. All right. And so go ahead and click on that link. Now, the other message that I want to share with you, very important, really quick before I exit, is that we are preparing, Women of Elevation, we're preparing for the 4th annual Triumphant Women's Awards Celebration event. We do this every year. We've been doing it since 2016, where we give awards for women who are coaches, authors, speakers, network marketers, and many other categories. And so we're looking forward to hosting this year's event, and it's going to be virtual. We know that we have to be safe, right? And so it's going to be virtual. And so we encourage you, for those of you, maybe you missed the opportunity to nominate yourself or nominate a woman that's in your life, a sister that's in your life. But if you are in attendance, you're going to know when we open up nominations again for 2021. You're going to know about what's coming up so you don't remain unplugged and unaware of what we're doing. And so we invite you, number one, join the community, woecommunity.com. Click on the link that's in the comment section. I just put it in the comment section. So you want to make sure you definitely click on that link and join me there in that group. That way you can get that foresight. You can be aware as to when certain things are coming up. Okay? And then also, you can visit the website for the upcoming award celebration that's going to be virtual. And so we encourage you to register to be in support of these women who are potentially going to get awards on October the 10th. That's the date for the Triumphant Women's Awards celebration. Saturday, October the 10th, it's going to be happening from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're super excited about this amazing, amazing event coming up. We have a vendor, of course, that's going to be participating. We have an online virtual fashion show. Yes, a fashion show. And we're going to have a keynote, inspirational message, and so much more. And so we encourage you now to make sure you, number one, register to be with us virtually at the Triumphant Women's Awards celebration. And the way that you can do that, okay, the way to do that, I'm going to put that link in the comment section as well. It's www.elevateyourbrand, live.com. All right. And this is for the awards celebration. I'm just make sure I type that in as well. 2020 award celebration registration. I'll put that in there too. So that's in the comment section. So be sure, of course, to visit those websites, check it out for yourself, gather and gain some information that's going to help you in making your decisions, and be plugged in. Again, when I say plugged in, all I'm saying is if you can join the group on Facebook where we are, you can be informed as to what's coming up. All right. We encourage you to remain connected. We have many speaking opportunities coming up in 2021. We're looking forward to those of you who may be women's empowerment experts. If you are an expert in empowering women, if you know of experts who empower women, we're looking for potential ways to partner, to come together and collaborate so that we can impact more lives together. It's not about someone being in the spotlight, but it's about the women that we're able to help propel forward into their destiny. That's what it's truly all about. We want leaders who are selfless. They're not necessarily focusing on themselves, but more so about serving others. And if that's you, if you have a servant's heart, we encourage you to connect. And actually, for those of you who want to potentially partner with us, we would love for you to reply network to this thread. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, because we're a podcast, reply network. If you're listening in the group on Facebook, reply network. That way, I will be in touch with you. We'll be able to set an appointment, have a Zoom chat, and talk about ways to network together potentially in 2021. So again, I appreciate you all. I thank you so very much. If you're trying to figure out more history regarding this organization, Women of Elevation, you can definitely visit our website, www.womenofelevation.com. When you go and when you click on that link, you'll probably see some other links as well that you can visit and you can learn more about our organization. All right? So listen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the Revitalize the Total Woman podcast. Hopefully you've received great amount of value from this session. And we're actually going to have a second session on tomorrow night. Now, we're not sure if we're going to be doing it live in the Black Business Women's Network group or, of course, in another group, but we may actually go back to our tribe group, which is in the Women of Elevation group on Facebook. So thank you so very much, everyone, for plugging in tonight. For those of you lady CEOs out there, we thank you so very much. You all be blessed and have a great evening.